What is going on, everybody? Good morning. I am headed to go get some breakfast, and then right after that I am headed to the Harley-Davidson dealership to pick up the Road King again. In my last video I mentioned to y'all that it was having some carb issues. I just didn't think the tune was quite right on it. It just needed some adjustment. I was having some problems getting the bike to start and idle without using a bunch of the choke. And also I was having issues with flat spots throughout the RPM range and things like that. So I took it back in, even though I wasn't quite done with the break-in period, to get them to take a second look at it. And I'm glad that I did, because it needed it. Yeah, they basically called me back and told me that it needed a lot more jets. So we've got bigger jets in it now. They said it runs a lot better. They said it runs with a lot more power, it idles better, it starts better, the whole gamut. So maybe it's finally perfect. We'll see. A couple other updates on it. I got the fuel petcock replaced because I had a bad gas smell in my garage, which, because I've got a new motor and all that, I would, kind of assume it would be one of the older parts. So yeah, it was the fuel petcock. So we replaced that and some brake pads. Got the bike rejetted, retuned. I think they advanced the timing just a little bit on the ignition, so that'll be really, really good. And we're gonna go pick it up, ride it today, and see if it's 100% like I hope it is. A couple other life updates. I updated my camera, which I told myself I would do at about 1,000 subscribers, and I'm getting really, really close. So I jumped the gun a little bit, but please hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and help me get to 1,000, because I am super close to my goal of 1,000, and I'm doing my best to upgrade everything about the channel. Update the video with a new camera. I've got the drone I expect to use a lot. Going to take a trip to Broken Bow, Oklahoma in the next couple weeks, where I really want to try some new stuff out, get some more cinematic type footage of the bike and a lot more cool drone shots and stuff like that, like y'all got a taste of in my Colorado videos. So let's go pick this bike up, get on it, ride it, and see what it does.
Well, don't let the wind fool you, folks. Riding season is definitely back in Texas. Hopefully it's back in the state that you're in. But we had one of the harshest winters we've had in a long time down here. And although it's brought us, I think, like a bunch of really high winds. Like the winds have been like at 15 to 20 miles an hour like every day for weeks. It's been kind of crappy, but the weather has warmed back up, the sun is back out, and I am ready to put some miles on this thing. And speaking of this thing, like I said earlier, I picked it up from Harley this morning, and I am happy to announce that after all the changes, this thing seems to be in tip-top shape. It runs 1,000,000 times better. It idles very consistently. It doesn't need the choke every time I have to start it now. From a cold start, it needs just barely a little bit to get going, and then it can warm up on its own, just like I feel like it's supposed to. In terms of power, it's much better. The rev's much better. It even sounds a little bit better. It just makes me think that we are going to be right on the money in terms of the tune now. This V80 is more of a cruiser than a bruiser, but it runs really well for this really big, heavy Road King. I don't think I've really gotten y'all a really good idle clip with these Shark Road Amazon mufflers on it either, so I'll do that right now. Runs pretty good, man. I don't really notice anything wrong with it at all. It pulls pretty good, pretty strong, revs pretty good. So as I said earlier, in a couple of weeks I'm headed up to Broken Bow, Oklahoma, which I don't know if this is the way it is for where y'all live, but it's kind of the place that people from Dallas Fort Worth go to, like, camp and get away and rent cabins and stuff. It's a pretty popular spot from here because it's about a 4-hour drive. It's kind of like if we want to go to the casino, we go to like Windstar or Choctaw. This is kind of the closest place you can get to be, like, not in the mountains per se, but kind of in the mountains, in nature, right? So going up there with a buddy, gonna take a couple of motorcycles up, gonna take the bass boat up and do a bunch of fishing on Broken Bow Lake, and I'm gonna chronicle that all for y'all. And we're gonna get this thing out and stretch its legs a little bit because it hasn't been that far from home. So I plan on doing like kind of a vlog style video with that trip. You're gonna come along for the fishing, you're gonna come along for the motorcycle rides. One of my favorite rides that I've ever been on is the Talamina Scenic Drive. I've done it a couple of times. It kind of bridges the gap between Oklahoma and Arkansas on Highway 1. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna fly the drone a little bit. I think you guys will really like that video. I'm gonna have a lot of fun filming and putting it together. Just please put in your good thoughts and prayers for good weather for me up there, because the last time we were there it was overcast and rainy like the whole time. So let's let it idle for a second. Idle's really good. No crazy up and down. Man, this thing's just a delight to ride. So there's been so much focus on this bike lately that the night train's been kind of getting a little bit of neglect. But don't worry, I am planning a video with the night train. I don't know where I'm gonna go for it yet, but I want to celebrate 1 year of the night train. So it is actually going to the dealer to get inspected and some new tires put on it and stuff this week. And whatever else they find wrong with it. Still spending those Harley points from that motor build. This last service for this, for the fuel petcock and stuff on this was free, because I paid for it with my rebate points from Harley. And I still got like $400 left, so that should pay for at least most of the night train stuff. So I'll get that bike into shape, get out to East Texas at the lake house or something, which is one of my favorite places to ride that bike, and do a little video about 1 year of the night train. Well, it took a bunch of money and a bunch of time, but this thing is finally as close to sorted out as I think it's gonna get. So now it's time to take it places and really put some miles on it. So I'll see you guys for the Broken Bow video. I'll be out of town shooting a lot of footage for that. And you guys will get a 500 mile update video out of me, and we'll see if this V80 is worth the money to put into your project. If this is the first video in the series that you guys have watched, and I know I get a lot of new viewers every time I put out a video, go back and watch the entire chronicle of this bike. I say it every video, and for y'all that have stuck around and are subscribers, I'm sorry, but most of my viewers are not subscribers, but I wish they would be. So hit the subscribe button, go back and watch the whole series on the channel. Basically it takes the day I bought this bike all the way to finding out the motor was toast, and new motor, and trials, tribulations, all that good stuff. And I'll get on some night train stuff, and we'll do some other type of videos coming up now that the weather is back. So until next time, guys, get on your bike if it's warm enough to ride where you're at, and let's start putting some miles on these bikes. It's about time, man. It was a long winter. All right, guys, I will see you on the next one. I appreciate y'all watching.